Try it again. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Love Your Block Application Information webinar. As we wait a few minutes for others to join, please take this time to review the slide on how to get the most out of today's webinar. In the chat, you can find the program for your convenience, and we ask that you please rename yourself to include the name of your city so that we can all get familiar with you. And to kick off today's program, please welcome Tracy Kalunga, Director of Civic Engagement at the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation at Johns Hopkins University.
Thank you, Elkina. And we are so excited to welcome you to the Love Your Block informational webinar. I'm coming to you live from LAX Airport, so I apologize if there's any background noise today. After 20 years working in local government, I'm honored to serve as the Civic Engagement Director at the Bloomberg Center for Government Innovation. My team and I lead Cities of Service, the Local Infrastructure Hub, Community Engagement Bootcamp Training, and the Love Your Block Grant Program. Together, we are focused on advancing and credentialing the field of civic engagement as a core tool for government innovation. Next slide, please. Today's webinar will prove to be both informational and educational as we review the Love Your Block program, AmeriCorps support, the grant application process, and of course, answer your questions. So be sure to write your questions in the Q&A feature in Zoom. Next slide, please. In order to make this time together as productive as possible, we have some defined goals that we would like to accomplish. First, we want to provide a clear application process. Second, provide comprehensive guidance. And last, mitigate any confusion about application timelines and process. Next slide, please. But before we get into these topics, I'd like to share a welcome message from our Executive Director, Amanda Daflos.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited that you're here with us today. I'm Amanda Daflos, and I lead the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation here at Johns Hopkins University. For more than a decade, Love Your Block has been paving the way to strengthen how cities connect with community members and address common challenges inspired leaders like you face when championing community revitalization. We know those challenges include funding, staff support, and the innovation expertise necessary to sustain resident-led change. Love Your Block is one of my favorite programs that the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation offers, and your interest in the program represents your interest in moving your city forward and doing great work for your residents. As you join us today, I would encourage you to think ambitiously about how the center in this program could help you boost your implementation capabilities, help grow inclusion and the use of data in your efforts, and promote equity and a community of innovation across your cities. While I'm unable to join you live, know that you're in the best of hands. The individuals on our civic engagement team at the center have led successes and solutions to tough problems in cities all across the globe. Thank you again for joining us, and I look forward to reading your applications and connecting with you as we all work to transform and improve the impact of government on the lives of people.
Amanda mentioned your interest in Love Your Block is important to us. It's a testament to your commitment to including community voices in developing city policies and programs in the cities that you love so much. Let's go to the next slide, please. Founded in 2009 by New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg and 16 inaugural mayors, Cities of Service mayors build stronger cities by changing the way local government and community members work together. Funded by Bloomberg Philanthropies, Cities of Service joined the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation at Johns Hopkins in 2020 to transform government culture, deliver results for communities, and inspire trust in public service. Today, Cities of Service supports a coalition of more than 300 cities around the world representing over 84 million people across the Americas and Europe. Later in the session, you will learn about the Mayor's Declaration of Service, which is the formal process for your city to become a Cities of Service Coalition member. Next slide, please. We help coalition cities tap into the knowledge, creativity, and service of community to co-create and identify both problems and solutions through our civic engagement model. We've tested and deployed this model since 2009. It's proven effective to support mayors and cities in delivering tangible results for communities. Step one starts with city leadership. We must have our mayor, city council, and city manager involved to ensure the success of the program. Number two, we work with cities to identify a challenge. Again, working with city leadership and the community, we focus on solving problems that are important to community members, such as blight, crime, illegal dumping, and neighborhood revitalization. Step three, we deliberate with the community. Having a conversation with the community and co-creating solutions is a key component of this work. For instance, Detroit mayor encouraged community members to host coffee meetings in their homes where neighbors would come and talk about their frustrations and solutions to neighborhood problems. Mobile Mayor Stimson used Instagram used Instagram to track blight in the historically disinvested neighborhoods. We teach these techniques and uplift models from around the country. And step four, get to work. Then it's time to roll up our sleeves and get to work with the community to solve the problem that we've identified. This may be cleaning vacant lots, building community gardens and playgrounds, painting murals, and other community co-created and co-led projects. And last but not least is step five, showing impact. We teach cities how to show the impact of their work through data dashboards, photos, quotes, and storytelling on social media, websites. We help you develop PowerPoint presentations for city council and community meetings and celebrations. We'll even help you develop slides for your mayor's state of the city. Our philosophy is that cities work best when they're open to the ideas and talents of community members, and that community collaboration is a force for good. Love Your Block is a legacy program of Cities of Service, and we use our civic engagement model to deliver the program. Now, without further ado, next slide, please. It is my pleasure to introduce the civic engagement team at the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation. They support the work of the Love Your Block cities. I would like to introduce our rock star senior advisors, Alkina Aldridge, Renata Campante, and Rajan Hoyle. Our amazing practice administrator, Joseph Cruz, strong and fierce AmeriCorps Vista leader, Alejandro Garcia, and our kind and caring AmeriCorps Summer Program Associate, Vista, Nafisa Sal. Thank you for your time today. And now I'd like to pass it over to Senior Advisor Alkina Aldridge, who will give us an overview of the Love Your Block program.
Thank you so much, Tracy. My name is Alkina Aldridge, and I have the absolute pleasure of serving as a senior advisor here with the Love Your Block program. I'm also a very proud former Love Your Block city lead from South Bend, Indiana, where our volunteer impact initiative focused on small-scale home repair. These grassroots efforts catalyzed historic investment into our formerly Red Line neighborhoods and built capacity for our budding neighborhood services portfolio. I'm very much looking forward to reviewing each of your applications and learning more about the many ways that volunteer impact will transform City Hall. Now, let's jump in on Love Your Block. Next slide, please. Love Your Block is a grant program that helps U.S. mayors and cities strengthen neighborhoods through resident-powered projects. The volunteers pictured here are from our current round of grants in Salt Lake City. Next slide, please. Since the program's inception, 58 Love Your Block alumni cities from across the U.S. have participated in the program, forever transforming the way that their city government engages with hard-to-reach populations. Cities like Phoenix, Arizona, Hartford, Connecticut, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and of course, South Bend, Indiana, all continue to sustain robust mini grant programs and have scaled these efforts to deliver more equitable neighborhood services through new departments and programs that center resident knowledge and trust building. Next slide, please. These 58 cities have incredibly removed over 6.3 million pounds of trash and counting, remediated more than 116,000 square feet of graffiti, and engaged 36,000 volunteers to revitalize 3,800 community spaces in disenfranchised neighborhoods across the nation. Love Your Block volunteers have also created 765 art displays, like the mural pictured above from our current round in El Paso, Texas. Next slide, please. Starting in February of 2024, your senior advisor will begin to coach you through a tailored curriculum following our 9-step Love Your Block blueprint. First, Love Your Block teams will work hand in hand with resident volunteers to identify the public problem and how exactly it affects the quality of life of residents through community listening sessions, charrettes, and so on. This deliberative process will uncover problematic lots, properties, or challenges that residents are facing due to blight. This qualitative data will inform the mini grant design and next steps. Your senior advisor will work with you to record metrics like participant demographics and deliberative hours. Love Your Block teams will then work in community to co-design a mini grant initiative that meets the needs of residents expressed during that prior deliberation. And finally, cities will launch a mini grant initiative, and this is a major programmatic milestone and proud moment for both residents and city leaders. Next slide, please. After launching the mini grant initiative, it's time to activate community, recruit volunteers, and get to work. As you work, your senior advisors will coach in data collections and metrics tracking to support in sharing program successes, and also to leverage future funding opportunities to sustain the initiative post-grant. You will also share and celebrate successes with local residents and other community stakeholders who have joined in the design and implementation of the program. Our hope is that you'll leverage this model to sustain and scale volunteer impact efforts across departments in City Hall. Next slide, please. Love Your Block generally encompasses 4 primary objectives, which center around elevating and advancing the voices of those typically left behind by government. We'll coach you through promoting culturally relevant practices by sharing tools to support language access, ensure ADA compliance, and to lead from a trauma-informed perspective. At the end of our time together, you'll develop a plan to sustain and scale the initiative, leveraging the commitments and partnerships developed throughout the program. Cities have introduced new mini grant programs like Jackson, Tennessee, and South Bend, who now offer up to $5,000 for resident-driven initiatives. Shawnee, Oklahoma has expanded their volunteer initiative and cleanup efforts to include their downtown and other areas following a series of tornadoes. And Duluth has introduced Energy Navigators as a core of resident volunteers to connect LMI homeowners to energy updates in their former Love Your Block target neighborhood. Next slide, please. As shared, our curriculum and technical assistance components are designed to walk you through the Love Your Block blueprint. This deep technical assistance and coaching model will include annual site visits to your respective cities, a monthly Love Your Block webinar series for the Love Your Block Vista, team and technical assistance calls, one-on-one calls, and on-demand office hours should you require additional assistance from your senior advisor. You will also have the opportunity to attend Love Your Block Academy annually, hosted by BCPI, as an opportunity to learn from your peers, receive coaching, and experience best practices in the field. Next slide, please. I'd now like to pass it over to my colleague, Alejandra, to discuss the Love Your Block staff positions in depth.
Thank you, Alkina, and thank you all for attending today's webinar. Once again, my name is Alejandra Garcia, and I serve as the AmeriCorps Vista leader for the Love Your Block program. Today, I will be providing you with an overview of two key positions within this program. That is the Fellow and the AmeriCorps Vista. Next slide. First, let us talk about the Love Your Block Fellow. The Fellow is a critical partner within the Love Your Block program, and with the assistance of your senior advisor, each city will launch recruitment for a Fellow who will serve directly with the city implementing the Love Your Block program. The Fellow will work directly with the AmeriCorps Vista, city staff, local partners, and residents to support the project's implementations and successes. The Fellow should ideally have ties to the community being served. That tie can look like being a current resident, a previous long-term resident, or just have active ties to the neighborhood. The Love Your Block Fellow will work under the direction of the designated city lead and is responsible for developing and implementing a robust community engagement strategy and project management of the program activities. Next slide. On this slide, you will also find a layout of what the city is responsible for in regards to the position with the Love Your Block Fellow. Pictured there is Gretchen Kern from Love Your Block Erie. The city is responsible for recruiting, managing, onboarding, and supporting the Love Your Block Fellow throughout the 2-year grant period. They ensure that the Love Your Block Fellow has local ties to the community, provide day-to-day supervision, and report on fellow activities as part of the general grant requirement. Next slide. AmeriCorps Vista. Another integral part of the Love Your Block program is the collaboration that this program has with our AmeriCorps partners. Today, I will provide you with an overview of what this program is and how it relates to Love Your Block. Next slide, please. For those who are not familiar, AmeriCorps Vista is a federal anti-poverty program that funds organizations to make a positive impact in communities all across the United States. Vista members support projects at nonprofits, grassroots organizations, local government like yourselves, and they operate programs to help alleviate poverty in the United States. As part of the Love Your Block program, the city would be hosting one AmeriCorps Vista. The AmeriCorps Vista members and senior volunteers serve directly with the cities implementing the Love Your Block program. The power of AmeriCorps Vista is extraordinary, and it brings talented, passionate people on board to create and enhance your anti-poverty programs by expanding the capacity of your organization. This means they provide a human resource to assist in project overview, outreach, and other activities. Next slide. Now, what does it exactly look like to be an AmeriCorps Vista? First, I want to let you know what an AmeriCorps Vista is. Vistas are federal volunteers who sign up to serve a full year of service. In this case, it would be with the city who has received the Love Your Block program, and they have an opportunity to extend their service for a second year if applicable. Similar to the Love Your Block Fellow, the Vista should be reflective of the community and would lead volunteer recruitment and impact volunteer efforts for the program. Next slide. As the city who's implementing Love Your Block, there are responsibilities for hosting a Vista. The responsibilities are laid out here. You are responsible for the recruitment and onboarding of the AmeriCorps Vista, providing day-to-day supervision, weekly check-ins to ensure project alignment and clear roles and responsibilities, as well as reporting on Vista member activities as part of the general Love Your Block reporting. Overall, we have seen that success comes when we have the AmeriCorps partners by our side. These Vistas truly have made the Love Your Block program stronger. I hope today I have provided you with some insight into the AmeriCorps program and what the responsibilities of hosting an AmeriCorps Vista look like for all future Love Your Block cities. Next slide, please. I would like to now pass it over to my colleague, Renata Campante, who will walk us through the Love Your Block application. Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandra. I'm Renata Campante, BCPI Senior Advisor, and I'm super excited to be here with you all today. I'm sure everyone here is eager to hear more about the application itself. So let's not waste any time. Next slide, please. First order of business, I would like to start by reviewing the program and application guidelines. Next slide, please. The first part of the, yes, thank you. The first part of the guidelines lists the grant awards, covering all the benefits selected cities will receive over the 2 years of the grant term. Just like the previous cohort, selected cities will receive $40,000 to support program implementation and volunteer-led mini grant projects, and $60,000 to fund a Love Your Block Fellow position. Another award benefit that will increase implementation capacity in selected cities is the placement of one AmeriCorps Vista member each year working under the direction of the city project lead. Next slide, please. Selected cities will also receive high-touch training and technical assistance from us at the Bloomberg Center for Public Innovation, peer-to-peer learning opportunities with current and former Love Your Block grantee cities, as well as invitations to an annual convening. Selected cities will also be recognized as a Love Your Block grantee cities on our communications, including on social media, the center website, and other media. Next slide, please. To be eligible to apply for a Love Your Block grant, your city must have a minimum population of 30,000, a mayor with at least 3 years remaining in their current term, and that means your mayor's term should cover the 2 full years of the grant, both 2024 and 2025 full calendar years. Mayoral signature and commitment to the Cities of Service Declaration of Service, the capacity to recruit for and manage a Love Your Block Fellow for a 2-year fellowship, and one AmeriCorps Vista member for each year of the program, and capacity to manage and complete all programmatic reporting documentation and tasks. Next slide, please. So now that we know who's eligible to apply, let's review how cities will be selected for the grant. This time around, Love Your Block will select up to 20 cities. To do that, we'll look, among other things, at the nature of the public problem outlined in the application. We'll look at the readiness of the mayor and the city team to implement the grant. We'll assess the role of resident volunteers, the proposed roles of Vista member and Love Your Block Fellow, the role and level of engagement of the city chief executive and relevant city partners, and the neighborhoods of focus featured in the application. Another important criterion is the commitment to tracking metrics to demonstrate impact. Next slide, please. Now let's review all the important application dates. As many of you know, our application launched on November 6th. On November 9th, we had our first informational webinar, and on November 16th, we had our optional office hour. We are now all attending our second and final informational webinar, which is a repeat of the first one. And just as a reminder, attendance at one of the 2 webinars is a requirement for application. Now, I urge everyone to write down the application deadline because you really want to pay attention to this one. You have to complete and submit your application online by Monday, December 4th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Do not forget to add that to your calendar. Next slide, please. To help everyone plan accordingly, here are some key dates for selected cities. We plan to host our welcome webinar for participating cities in early February, February 6th to be more precise. Recruitment for the fellow and AmeriCorps positions will also kick off on that date. All grant agreements will be executed from February to March. And Love Your Block fellows will begin their positions on April 1st, while AmeriCorps Vistas will begin their service in the month of April. Next slide, please. So how can selected cities use Love Your Block funds? Funds must be used in accordance with the intentions of the Love Your Block program and for direct support of impact volunteering initiatives. With that, it's important to note that fellowship grant funds are restricted to the direct compensation of the identified Love Your Block fellow. Some tangible examples of acceptable use of these funds include activating vacant lots, neighborhood cleanups, creating community spaces, and code compliance repairs for homes. Next slide, please. In the interest of transparency and clarity, the application materials also list some unacceptable uses of Love Your Block funds. These include, among others, services covered by existing city infrastructure, rent or utilities, incorporation fees, and partisan political organizations. Make sure you review the complete list offered in the application guidelines, which you can find on the application website. Next slide, please. Okay, so how to apply for the Love Your Block grant. First, you go on the application webpage. Your second step, and please do not skip this one, is to thoroughly review the application guidelines and FAQ. Feel free to download them in a PDF format if you want to spend some additional quality time with them. Once you have completed your review of the application materials, you can start working on the application form. We will give you a lot more information on how to complete this step in just a couple of minutes. But you can also download a Word document with the application questions if you want to review them offline or if you want to plan out your answers on that document. Now, and this is very important, to submit your application, you have to do so online. That means that all of your answers must be completed and submitted through the application webpage. And again, the deadline closes on December 4th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure your application is in before then. Next slide, please. If you have any questions or need assistance, please do not hesitate to email us at bcpi-civicengagement@jh.edu. Trust me, we'll be more than happy to assist you. Next slide, please. Now, I told you all that we would give you more information on how to complete the grant application itself. So here it is. Next slide, please. Okay, so as you see, the application form itself has 7 different sections. We'll go over each one of them today. All fields noted with an asterisk, also known as a star, are required. Once you begin your application, you will be able to save your progress and return to the application later. So take your time, but also remember, final applications must be completed and submitted online by December 4th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. Next slide, please. Okay, so section 1 is where the applicant provides just general information, city, state, contact information, and so on. In this section, the applicant will also inform if they'll be the lead for the proposed project. Next slide, please. In section 2, you will find questions about the public problem the city hopes to alleviate with Love Your Block. We want to know how residents are impacted, what the city has already done to address it, and also we want to hear your elevator pitch. Next slide, please. In section 3, we want to learn more about your proposed project. So please describe a specific project. Give details, be specific, and really help us understand the project you have in mind. The questions you'll find here focus on volunteer activation and recruitment, especially from underrepresented populations in the targeted neighborhoods, and who will serve as executive sponsor of this project. Next slide, please. Still in section 3, we want to know what role your mayor will play in the proposed project, when the project will launch, which departments and agencies will be involved, and which community partners will support the effort. Next slide, please. Now on to section 4. In this section, we really want to know how applicants will measure and demonstrate impact. We want to hear what results you expect and how you plan to measure the impact of Love Your Block in your city. More precisely, we want to know up to 5 measures key players will receive to show the impact of the project on the selected public problem. Next slide, please. Still in section 4, we want to know how we will track the metrics outlined in the previous answers, and how often data will be collected and by whom, and what demographic data the applicant collects and how it uses it. Next slide, please. Okay, now section 5. This section revolves around grants made to residents. We want to know how the city has made these grants in the past and how the city will make sure that groups with limited or no involvement learn about opportunities offered by Love Your Block. Next slide, please. We also want to hear about practices and considerations around diversity and inclusion when making grants to community partners and residents. Remember, we value learning, so please highlight any shortcomings with your past efforts and how you plan to overcome them. Or if this is a new commitment, what considerations you are taking into account and how you plan to execute them. We also want to know what your plans are to sustain the project after the initial Love Your Block grant, from recent conversations about future funding to partnerships with foundations or local businesses and other community partners. Next slide, please. In the last question of section 5, we want you to identify who will be the staff responsible for this project, what your responsibilities are, and why this project falls under their purview. Next slide, please. In section 6, we have 2 questions, both pertaining to the Love Your Block team. Question 21 wants to learn about your plans for VISTA recruitment, management, and support. This question offers a lot of guidance on how to provide a complete answer, so please make sure you really utilize that guidance. Next slide, please. The last question in section 6, question 22, wants to know how you will recruit, manage, and support the Love Your Block Fellow. Here again, utilize the guidance in the question and please be really specific. Next slide, please. Okay, now the final section of the grant application, section 7. Here's where we ask you if your city is part of the Cities of Service Coalition so that we can either verify that participation or help you become a member. Next slide, please. Finally, here's a list of documents you must submit with your application. You need letters of support from critical departments and agencies, letters of support from critical community partners, an organizational chart, and if your city is not a part of the Cities of Service Coalition, you also need to submit a completed declaration of service with your mayor's signature. Thank you all for staying with me for the application review. I will now pass it over to Alkina, who will cover frequently asked questions.
Thank you, Anata, for that thorough review of the application process. And I'm now going to take a few minutes to review frequently asked questions before we jump into our Q&A portion. So continue to use the Q&A tool at the bottom of your screen to send in questions. I see we have a lot coming in. Next slide, please. Does my city need to join the Cities of Service Coalition to apply? So yes, as Hinata just shared, we do require that you download and retrieve a signature from your mayor and then upload that as a supplement to your application. So yes, everyone will need to submit a Cities of Service declaration. The second question is, if my city is a previous Cities of Service grantee, can it still apply? And the answer to that is yes. If you have a previous relationship with Cities of Service as a grantee, you absolutely may still apply. However, we are not offering this opportunity to folks who have had AmeriCorps before. So that's Love Your Block City Hall program from 2015, 2018, or 2021. So those years are excluded from eligibility. Everyone else still welcome to apply. Question 3, what is the best way to distribute funding? We've shared throughout this webinar about mini grants and the mini grant initiative and how exciting it is. So we have seen larger sort of city scaled projects. You can be creative, but the mini grant is the best sort of practice in getting residents really engaged and moving them up that scale to empowerment. Next slide, please. How do we define blight? So we broadly refer to the term blight to define properties in significant repair or in need of remediation. This could include vacant lots and structures in both private and public spaces. And the next question is, what is the definition of volunteer engagement? We're really looking for projects that involve community members throughout the process, especially engaging members from underrepresented or vulnerable populations. So that includes our aging population, our youth, immigrants and refugees, and disabled or differently abled populations, to name a few. This could be different for your community. And ask for support that you'll receive from the center. As you heard, you'll receive high-touch technical assistance from our senior advisors. Next slide, please. And also, as you heard earlier, AmeriCorps is a national federal service program where AmeriCorps Vista members are full-time volunteers who work to eliminate poverty by supporting projects at nonprofits, NGOs, and local government agencies. And again, as a requirement of this grant, Vista members are obligated to support programs and initiatives that intentionally target LMI communities and residents. Next slide, please. And of course, we want to do our absolute best to provide you with all of the resources necessary to submit a successful application on or before December 4th. Here we've provided the links to our BCPI website, our Love Your Block webpage, the Love Your Block blueprint that we've referred to, the Cities of Service website, which has a lot of information about alumni cities and their projects, and then also the frequently asked questions, which we've just reviewed. We're going to jump into the Q&A portion, but of course, if you have any lingering questions, you can always feel free to email us at bcpicivicengagement@jhu.edu. Next slide, please. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and jump right into the Q&A portion, joined by my colleague, Hinata, and we're going to get through some of these questions. We'll lead with the first one from the chat, which asks, what is the relationship with the local city council when you remove waste? Do you provide an additional service to the council's existing cleaning program? So one thing I really loved about this program as a city lead is it was a great opportunity to build relationships with the council, especially those council members who are typically serving areas that are disinvested. So they're typically the council members coming to you with complaints all the time, but this is an opportunity to come to them and say, hey, come and work with us on this project. So they're typically really excited to be involved. And if there is an existing cleaning program, for instance, in South Bend, ours was ran by a public works department. So we did partner with existing programs or the infrastructure that existed within City Hall already. So if that's there, I do suggest that you tap into that. They were a great benefit to us. They help us weigh our trash. So that may be an opportunity for you as well. The next question is, will you email us a copy of all of the slides being presented? Renata, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, so you see that the deck is already available in the chat. You can download the PDF at the moment. You can also find a link to the deck in the program for today. But with that, you'll also receive it by email once at the end of the event.
Thank you. Absolutely. So there's lots of questions here around materials, and we certainly will be following up with you by email. So don't worry, you'll get those materials. The next question is, this is a great opportunity. How often does the application open? And will this be the last opportunity to apply? Absolutely not. Renata, would you like to speak to the terms?
Yes. So first of all, I agree. This is a great opportunity. Apply now, but if you can't, because your mayor's term doesn't cover one of the requirements, or do apply in 2025. We'll open this opportunity again in 2 years.
Thank you. And we also had a question about materials. We will also follow up with the recording by email. The next question from the city of Fort Smith, Fort Smith, Arkansas. We have, can the fellow oversee and manage the VISTA members? So per the contracts, actually, and there's a later question around AmeriCorps sort of requirements, but the host being the city would need for a city employee to oversee that VISTA member. So the city lead is the manager of both the VISTA member and the fellow. And the next question is, having previously served in AmeriCorps, I recall a cost sharing component for the host site. Is it safe to assume that it is either no longer required or Bloomberg covers it? So yes, Bloomberg is the sponsor of these AmeriCorps VISTA members. And again, you are the host site, but you will not have any funding requirements related to that. Although we do ask that you provide them with the workspace and laptop and essentially treat them as you would, an intern that you welcome into City Hall. The next question, what is the block radius where the mini project could take place? Is it one block or multiple? So when we open up our TA in February, one of the first things we'll discuss is defining a target area. And so that could be considered a neighborhood. We've seen it in cities where within that neighborhood, they then define it down to, say, a street. So when you do the project, you really can see the visual impact, but it's typically defined as a neighborhood. You don't have to scale it down to a block, but you could. And
yeah, if I may chime in, I just wanted to say, one of the great things about Love Your Block, it's a co-creation, right? We will offer TA on every step of the blueprint, but this is a program that will be co-created with your residents. So it is flexible, and it should be something that works with the reality you have in the public problem you are trying to alleviate with Love Your Block.
Thanks, Renata. I hope that helps. The next question we have from Chris Hoover. When it comes to awarding the mini grants, what if there are no neighborhood associations? Are nonprofits, small businesses, schools, etc., able to apply for the mini grant? Absolutely, yes. Those are great community stakeholders to partner with. I was also in this situation as a city lead that the target neighborhood that we wanted to work within didn't have a neighborhood association, we did use this grant opportunity as a space to build capacity for them. So after Love Your Block, they were a full-scale organization and are still doing great work. So a great note to remember as well. And the next question is a popular one. I'm going to kick it to Hanatha, but it says, the city of Louisville, Texas is up for re-election next year, and our mayors are on a 3-year term. Is it possible for the city of Louisville to apply?
Yes, so this time around, we are looking for mayors, which term still covers, 2024 and 2025. But again, if your mayor is being elected, next year, if there's a new election next year, do apply in 2025. But I will say, we tend to get some questions about mayor's term. So I will take this opportunity to encourage everyone that has a question to really send us an email, describing the specific situation so we can give you a tailored response, and figure out, what opportunities will be available to your city. So please email us if you have a question about your mayor's term and, more specifically.
Thank you. A great response. Absolutely take the space to email us if you have further questions, because that second year can get pretty, that's a director's question. So let us know. Next we have, and also if we're asking you to reapply in 2025, do stay in contact by submitting a declaration of service so that you can get information from us about next funding opportunities. Can we send the declaration after the application deadline? We need to take this document to council and the meeting isn't until 12/12. So that's one I'm going to say is a director question, and let's please email us that so we can get you an escalated response. The next.
Sorry, Alkina, I'm going to chime in here. I will say that if you submit a letter on city letterhead, and we can also respond via email to this question. If you send a letter on city letterhead stating you're going to council on 12/12, it is an agenda item. It will be signed on December 12th. And can verify that, we will accept that. But again, it has to be on city letterhead, signed by a city official who can sign on behalf of the city to verify that it's coming. Let's just use that as discretion. We highly, highly encourage mayors to sign prior to your submission, because it shows your mayor's full support of this program. But again, if there's any confusion, as Alkina and Hanatha said, please feel free to email us.
Thank you, Tracy. And then, do I hear you saying that if our mayor does not have 2 years left in his term, we should not apply? Needing to clarify so that we do not waste our time on collaborative efforts. So yes, we would like your mayor to be in office in 2024 and 2025. I did see a later note around the mayor leaving in November 2025. That fits the scope of our program, so you would be okay. And the next question, is there a similar program for cities that have lower population, 6,000? Wow, so South Bend was one of those cities we had lowered the population, and we just met the note then in 2018 at 100,000. We subsequently dropped it so we can invite more cities to 30,000. Shawnee is our smallest city this year, but we do not have a funding resource for populations of 6,000. Sorry to share. I have a question also. Yes.
Sorry, I am so sorry. I need to raise my hand and be a better student. I apologize. For our cities that are 6,000 or 10,000, our smaller cities, your mayor can still apply to be a cities of service city, which means you'll have access to our newsletter, to invitation only webinars and events. And fingers crossed, we can also send you to other grant programs. I know, for instance, the federal local infrastructure hub in partnership with the White House, we're trying to get out a lot of the funding to smaller towns and cities. So cities of service, still having your mayor sign up for cities of service is a great way to stay connected to all the opportunities for smaller towns and cities. Thank you, Elkina.
Of course, thanks for jumping in. I know I'm moving quickly. I'll also just note, if we run out of time to get to all of your questions, we will follow up by email. And also just a note of encouragement to send us an email anyways. We also have from Sabrina McLeod, should the project be focused on one area or multiple areas? In the first year, we really encourage you to stay with one target zone. It's a really big program. You'll thank us later. In the second year, some of our cities have expanded to other target areas, but that is a decision that will be left to the discretion of your senior advisor. Renata, did you have something to add there?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, be specific in the project that you want to, target. We cannot boil the ocean at this time. So what we want to see in your application is that you have a clear vision on how to address, that public problem and what the neighborhood, of target would look like. And, but there's also, as I said, like there is some flexibility within the program. So, how you're going to define that area will be very specific to your city.
I have one from Kevy Alexander. I checked the online map and see that if New York City is a member, and it's just confirming that, yep, New York City is definitely a member of Cities of Service. Good to see it. Have one from Justin Cunningham, who says, my church just purchased a $1.2 million facility and we want to open a health and wellness complex. We own the property, but need help renovating it sorry, the screen keeps jumping. Need help renovating for usage. Are we assigned someone to help us through this process? So, Justin, I'm going to ask that you send us that in email so that we can understand the question better. Our program typically focuses on mayors and cities, but let's take it offline. We have from Joe Newland, can you clarify the relationship between the mayor's office and the project lead? Does the project lead need to be housed within the mayor's office or just be able to demonstrate a clear connection to the mayor's office? So just be able to demonstrate a clear connection to the mayor's office. In the application, we do ask that you share with us an organizational chart that sort of defines that relationship. Doesn't need to be the mayor's office, just needs to have become a mayor's priority. Renata, did you want to add anything to that?
No, that covers it. Thank you.
I'm just going through the ones let's see. How is funding dispersed? When and how matches are applied? Many nonprofits cannot afford or have skills to make payments and wait for reimbursement. Similarly, we are not likely to start with a dedicated funding match, though that may follow. Yes. So we really encourage people to work with a fiscal agent. We worked with an organization called the Neighborhood Services Corporation, just to kind of go around all of the procurement challenges that you will have in making small grants. And if you have a match, that's definitely a strong add to your application. Your match would then just go to that fiduciary agent. If you needed to do it through the city, would just prep your procurement folks in advance and to make sure that they know what you're trying to do. And from Adrian Holloway, we have how solid must the project presented in the proposal, how solid must the project be? So we do expect that the project will shift a little bit, especially as you get through your deliberation with community. So you should have a good idea about it, but we expect there to be some flexibility in that. Renata, can you add to that? No?
Yes, so I'm a little uncertain where the question ended. Can you point me towards it, Okina?
Sure. In the Q&A function, it's from Adrian Holloway.
Yeah, I would say, like, again, we want to understand your vision of a project. You need to have a project in mind specifically, right? And a public problem, a target neighborhood, but we do expect that the project will be and should be, in fact, flexible enough to incorporate, this is a resident-centered program, like that's how the program will be designed. So it's going to change once you get that perspective added to whatever you are proposing in the application. So we do understand that.
Thanks, Renata. And thanks you all. We had a lot of great questions in the chat and a lot that we didn't get a chance to get to. Again, we will follow up with you by email to answer each of your questions. So if we didn't get to you, please send us an email. If you have a question about term, please send us an email. We will definitely respond to that. You will also receive all of the materials and documents in the recording by email as well. And now I'm just going to kick it to Renata to close this out.
Yeah. So before we close out, I just wanted to mention, if you are part of our organization, work with your city to apply. The city should be the one applying. Just wanted to make that clear from some of the questions that I was seeing in the Q&A feature. But definitely work with your city. And if you have questions about how that collaboration can, how you can partner with your city, you can also email us. We'll give you some ideas. And I will now pass it over to Tracy to close us out.
Wonderful. Thank you, team. Amazing job to this world-class team who led this webinar today. Next slide, please. We hope you all have enjoyed today's final informational session about Love Your Block. Our hope is that we've cleared up any questions, and we encourage you all to apply for this incredible opportunity. In the chat, you'll find the link to today's webinar survey. Please take a moment and a few minutes before logging off to complete the survey so that we can improve this experience for cities. Thank you all for coming today. And remember, if you have any questions after today's webinar, feel free to email us at bcpicivicengagement@jh.edu. Thank you and have a wonderful day.